This entire season, Harshad Chopda and Shivangi Joshi have had one of the weirdest dynamics I've seen on reality TV. One moment you're like, oh, they're actually so cute. And the very next moment you're sitting there thinking, can we separate these two? This feels wrong. Their relationship has constantly swung between wholesome and deeply uncomfortable, sometimes downright creepy. Now, let's get to Shivangi's elimination because I want to talk about it. When the decision was announced, she obviously wasn't happy. That's understandable. But what happened next is where things got interesting. Instead of just accepting and walking out, she lingered. She went around talking to people. She had conversation. She went to the page, taking the long way around the table. She kept saying she was leaving without actually leaving over and over and over again. Now, maybe she was genuinely emotional. That's entirely possible. Watching it as a viewer, it also felt like she was waiting for someone, specifically Harshad, to stop her. Almost like she was waiting for that big dramatic reality TV moment where he says, "No, you stay. I'll sacrifice myself." Because if we've learned anything this season, is that Harshad Chopra has a habit of putting Shivangi Joshi before himself. And honestly, there was a moment where I genuinely thought that he was going to fall. I could literally see the gears turning. I was mentally preparing myself to say, "Yup, the doormat is doormatting again." But then he didn't. For the first time this entire season, Harshad Chopra didn't completely collapse under the emotional weight of the situation. He held his ground, barely, but he did. And I genuinely wasn't expecting that. Now, here's why this relationship has divided multiple people's perception, because there are two completely different ways to look at it. Let's go one by one. Theory number one. Harshad is exactly what he appears to be, an emotionally bruised person, someone who's incredibly vulnerable, deeply attached, and maybe a little too willing to sacrifice himself for people he cares about. If you believe that version, then Shivangi starts looking like the stronger personality in the equation, someone who knows exactly how much emotional influence she has and leans into it. But let's put a pin on it and acknowledge something. Women in the entertainment industry, whether it's television or films, operate in an ecosystem where everyone wants something from them. People want access, people want influence, people want control. People become strangely territorial as well. And surviving in an environment like that often requires you to become incredibly emotionally intelligent, politically aware, strategic, and yes, even a little manipulative and sly. Honestly, I don't think survival and manipulation are always opposite. Sometimes survival demands you to learn how to play the game. Again, don't hate the player, hate the game, but survival doesn't erase accountability. If your strategy starts hurting people around you, you're still responsible for that. Now, moving to theory number two. Everything we've seen from Harshad is also a performance. The soft-spoken, emotionally wounded, I just need someone to understand me persona. What if that's part of his reality TV game? Because let's be honest, audience loves emotionally vulnerable men, especially if they're good looking. And if that's true, then suddenly this isn't a manipulator and a victim equation. This is two people who understand the television and audience extremely well. Two people carefully managing emotions, two people carefully controlling the narrative, and two people carefully performing different versions of themselves for the same game. And if that's the case, they're honestly a match made in heaven. End game for me. So after this elimination, I still can't decide which theory do I believe. Did Harshad finally break free from an unhealthy dynamic, or he simply decided that this was a better episode to win? Either way, for the first time this season, he was in Shivangi's doormat, and somehow that ended up being the biggest plot this entire season. Harshad Chopra and Shivangi Joshi have had one of the weirdest dynamics I've seen on reality TV. One moment you're like, oh, they're actually so cute. And the very next moment you're sitting there thinking, can we separate these two? This feels wrong. Their relationship has constantly swung between wholesome and deeply uncomfortable, sometimes downright creepy. Now, let's get to Shivangi's elimination because I want to talk about it. When the decision was announced, she